Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rukakwadash, and Shalom to the 144,000 rest of the elect out there. Shalom to all. I'm going to try to make this quick. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video, "This is why the man should be over the woman," or woman with an S, plural. WOMEN, WOMAN, single woman, WOMEN, women, plural. Because in our kingdom, we will have more than one woman. And on this side, before the kingdom, before the missiles hit, we will have more than one woman. Pursuant to Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1, starting from the first verse. That's going to take place on this side of the king, on this side, and will continue on the other side when we reach the kingdom. So the man is Lord over the woman, whether he has one woman, 5 women, 7 women, 10 women. That's the correct order. This whole system that we're living in is completely out of order. Where women, the authorities of this system, this society, allow women to do what they want to do, and all they do is bring mass confusion. They're confused. They don't know how to think. And they're suffering now. You have a lot of women begging to get a man, and you have women that went to school and studied and got a job making, 6 figures, but they're lonely and they need a man. And I'm talking about Jake men. I'm not talking about you other nations. I'm focusing on Jake. And now you're desperate. And then you got women that played the field, like what's her name? Is her name Lisa Ray? Lisa Ray and Vivica Fox, Vivica A. Fox, Vivica Fox. However, put that A. They 60s or close to 60s, talking about they need a man now. Ain't no man want you. Ain't no man want no old ass, broken down woman. Now you may look a certain way, you may look good, but the, it's like taking an old ass car and putting a paint job on it and making it look new, change the seats and all that. It's still old on the inside. People don't go to a car dealership and get an old beat up car. So the same goes with a woman. And you can blame it on Esau, but you can blame it on yourselves. You listened to this man, you did what Eve did. You listened to the serpent in the garden, here the serpent came to you again. And I'm going to show you how fucked up in the head these women are, man. You get a woman out there, guaranteed, if she's cool, that demon's going to pop up out of her, because she does have, all women have demons on them before they come into the truth. All men have a demon on them before they come into the truth. I meant to say all women and men have a demon on them, have one demon on them. And this is why you can't come into the truth. You black consciousness individuals, you cannot come to the truth, because the Most High did not take that one demon off of you. You black Christians, you have that one demon on you. You have a Christian demon on you. Islam, you have an Islamic demon on you. Atheists, you have an atheist demon on you. Making money, you got to make money. I got to get paid demon on you. So anyway, let's go back in. Let's open this up, and I'm gonna read this. This one precept a couple of precepts came to mind, but I'm gonna deal with this one precept, which is 1 Peter 3, verse 1, and we're gonna read down to the 6th, maybe the 7th verse. So now this woman is out of her fucking mind. Ain't no man want her. Ain't no brother in Israel wants her. She's tatted up. She even got look at this. She got all kind of tattoos on her. She's got studs all up in her face. And then she split her tongue. So the guy didn't want to the dude popped the balloon because he said he got tattoos of him, on himself. But this is like going overboard. And then she said, well, I got something I got to show you. And then she stuck out her tongue. Now this took hours to do this. She couldn't get all these tattoos done in one setting. You have to set up an appointment. You say, I want a tattoo of a butterfly. Then I want a tattoo, and it's painful too. All these different tattoos. She's fucked up. Now she probably was, handled as a kid. She's probably got major mental issues. Ain't no man in Israel. You tell me, you brothers, any you men in GMS, would you date this woman? Any brother in any of the One Westers, would you date this woman? Would you go out with this woman? Would you spend time with this woman? Would you give her the time of day? She's all fucked up. She's all fucked up. And that goes back to what? I guarantee you, she was born in a single family, setting. And probably a mother raised her. Probably a mother had boyfriends that violated her. Or she could be with the father and the mother, and the father violated, or the uncle violated it, or somebody. She got mishandled as a youngster. And this right here, as a young girl, and this right here, this is a cry for help. This is a cry for help. And this takes the cake. What man wants to get with this woman? Except maybe one of them Edomites that do all this crazy shit. She's fucked up in the head. She's completely fucked up in the head. That's why when you go back to the law, it was the father that picked out the husband. This is going to be your husband. Going back to the account of Isaac and Rebekah. Rebekah never saw when the first time she confronted Isaac, she never saw that man before. And the same goes with Isaac. Isaac never saw Rebekah, but Isaac fell in love with Rebekah on first sight, and Rebekah fell in love with Isaac. And he didn't say, well, let me get a chance to know you. He just took her in the tent because he was mourning his mother Sarah, and after he laid with her, he got over his depression with his mother, with Sarah. And then it said, and then she became his wife, but no paperwork involved. Back in the day, you said what's called common law marriage. And if you was back in it changed up, but if you was, that goes back to prior to 1938. Something happened, and 1938 was a key year, where something happened. There was a change, a major shift. And all I can do is give you a case law. If you study the law, you go into the case law, which is it was a U.S. Supreme Court decision, which is under the U.S. Supreme Court reports. And that was in 1938. And the case is Tompkins versus Erie Railroad. I believe that was Erie, Pennsylvania, Erie Railroad. There was this, you can read the story, but it overturned Swift versus Tyson. And something major happened. Now, prior to that case law, if you was with a woman, a woman living with you, you live with a woman, you didn't get no paperwork, that was considered common law. They said that you were husband and wife, whether you got paperwork or not. And especially if you was with that woman for 7 years or more, you were definitely husband and wife under the common law. But the common law was thrown out. Can't bring up common law cases. And that's supreme. Then you got to go up to the Supreme Court. Give me a second. Give me a second here. Lord, got to come and get us. Anyway, so back then you didn't need no paperwork. You were considered husband and wife. So anyway, let me get back into this. When you go into the law, it's the man that decides to give the woman away. Even the man a Hebrew man can sell his daughter to another Hebrew man as a servant or a slave. And that man and that's in the law, and that man can decide to just have her be a servant unto you for life. Or if he says, I'm going to marry this woman, beautiful woman, she's going to be my wife. She has no say in the matter when they consummate the union. And then now she's she's no longer under status as a servant. She's an actual, wife to this man. They showed you that in the movie 12 Years a Slave with the madam. She was a former slave. The slave master probably had a wife, was probably popping her. His wife died, and he fell in love with this slave and said, I want you to marry me. I want you to be my wife. And as soon as that happened, she received that. She went from slave status to being a member of the household. So she became a mistress, a female, a master. And they had that in Israel. They had that in slavery, the transatlantic and chattel slavery. Chattel means cattle. So we were like animals to them. But you had that in slavery, where you had jakes that were even men. You had men that worked their way. They made a deal with the master, and they worked their way, and they paid for this, to be let loose, and they established themselves. And you had jakes that even had slaves. You had jakes that had slaves. You had Reubenites, some of them Seminoles, and even some Gads. They enslaved Jake, and some of them welcomed them in, and they had children. You had Judah and Gad having children together. Same goes with Reuben. So that's a lot of history there. But going back to the law, people saying that they're talking about the law. There's a controversial topic on the grape thing. The grape thing is definitely lawful. Israelite man grapes, or Israelite woman that's not engaged to a man, or actually married to a man, he goes before the father. He has to give the father 50 shekels of silver, and he has to take that woman as his woman. You break it, you buy it, so to speak. Because she was a virgin, she was pure. So the father got that much richer, and the law said that he cannot put her away. Now you got these camps that are saying different, had the big controversy with us. Now these guys, especially this one particular camp that says keep the law, well, that's a law. So for you to say that that's not scriptural, you are taken away from the law. And that's Deuteronomy chapter 4, the first couple of verses. You can read Deuteronomy 4, Deuteronomy 5, Deuteronomy 6. I believe it's Deuteronomy 4 where it says to not take. Matter of fact, I'm going to go to it. Oh, the Israelite man that sold his daughter to an Israelite, another man made a purchase. He can say, you're just going to be a servant. Now you go further into the law, you had men servants that fell in love with women servants and had children. But those children were the master's house. 7 years, 6 years working, 7 years you are free. The man, the Hebrew man, an Israelite man, and he was given substance for him to be established. That's where Esau gets the severance pay from, and that's what Jacob did. You know, when he worked for Laban for 21 years, 7 for Rachel, 7 for Leah, and 7, and that was at 7 initial years. And he came out with great substance. When he came out of that after 21 years, he was a rich man. He was able to have servants himself, and he got two other women, which were concubines, which were the servants of Rachel and Leah. So you had women that had their own slaves. That goes on in Africa, in the Arab world. That still goes on, you know. So, the master that got the woman slave, that purchased a woman slave from another Israelite, he can say, I want you to get with my son. She had no say in the matter. If she got with the master's son, then she was no longer a servant. She was on the status of a wife. So the master could say, I'm going to take you for myself, and I'm going to have babies with you or whatever, or I'm going to give you to my son, or I'm just going to make you a servant. Another Israelite come in, fall in love with you, have children. If he decides to leave after 7 years, which he has the right to, which a woman doesn't, he can leave with substance. But he had to leave his children and his woman. Now, you fall in love with a woman, you got children with a woman. The law is, okay, you can stay with the woman, but you got to be my slave for life. You got to put a oil in your ear, which is like an earring, and make a vow or oath saying that I love my master, and I'm going to be his servant forever. That's what the whole digital all is about. The MOTB. The MOTB is nothing but an all. That's all it is. It's nothing but a digital all. And you're going to be shook. You camps out there that have been bucking up against the true prophets of the Most High, of GMS, you're going to have a lot of explaining to do. Real talk. So, like I said, let me know how many Israelite men in GMS will take this woman out on a date. Especially when she stuck her, well, I said, nah, I ain't with that. But that's she fucked up. She fucked up, man. She might as well, off herself. She might as well take herself out of the picture. Our women are all fucked up. So now let me give you this precept. It says, 1 Peter 3 verse 1, likewise ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands. Now what does the word subject mean? It means you're on the bottom. That if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives. So there's a thing in Israel when a woman comes into a school, like I'll use IUIC. They got a thing that if a man comes in, his wife got to be a believer. If not, you got to cut her off. At one time it was 6 months, I believe it's a year, which is clearly not biblical. So there again, they they took from the law, they took from the scriptures, they took away or added to the scriptures. That's none of my business what a man and woman does. If a man comes into the truth, he's a GMS, he got a woman, she's not a believer, well, that's between him and her. That's none of my business. I can't tell you, oh, brother, your wife got to be in the truth too, and if she ain't in the truth, then you're going to have to cut her off. And a lot of those guys do that because they're zombies. It says, wow. So we know that they don't have the truth because I just mentioned the grape doctrine, and then I mentioned this thing about a believing wife. You don't have a woman come in and, oh, do you have a husband, sister? Yes. Well, why don't your husband come to school? Because he's a Muslim. Oh, you know, sister, he's an unbeliever. You got to cut him off. And then she listens because she don't know no better. They show us some gotcha scriptures instead of going to the actual scriptures. What I mean by that is 1 Corinthians chapter 7. She doesn't know that's in the scriptures. Hey, High Priest Ariah said that when I first came in. He said, you know, if you got a wife that's not in the truth, you got to cut her off. And my woman at the time didn't believe. And the Spirit guided me to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. So High Priest Ariah went off. The 7 went off from time to time. And then the women that High Priest Ariah was dealing with, they wasn't believers. But they would say shalom, but they wasn't believers. They were doing what the hell they wanted to do. You can't be a fucking zombie in this truth. You can't be a fucking zombie in the truth and in the truth at the same time. Most I ain't dealing with zombies. That's a topic for somebody. You got a lot of zombies in Israel. You got a lot of people that don't study, don't research, don't question their teachers. Whatever the teacher says, they just, okay, the teacher said it, I'm going to follow it. And they become master regurgitators. It says, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear. Oh, my woman said she came to the truth. She's a changed woman. She cleans the house. She does this. She calls me Lord. Let me go to that school too. And a lot of these groups, if women come in, they'll take the woman. They'll try to, certain groups, I'm not sure of the groups, but they'll probably say, well, you can't deal with a woman for 6 months. Now, they did that back at the 7 did that. Oh, if a woman in here, you got to wait. If you like that woman, you got to wait 6 months before. I said, man, shit. Because when I first got in, I met a woman in there, and I said, man, first of all, in my mind, I said, first of all, it's none of your fucking business. You know? The fuck I do with a woman. I got to wait for 6 months? Shit. Told you, man, a lot of zombies. It says, who's adorning, let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair, cornrows and all that. You got men that do that, and you got women that do that. And of wearing of gold. You got Israelite women and men that wear gold, but it's mentioning, so you can say, well, that's talking about women. But you got women that got all kind of gold on them. This is what the scriptures say. Are we following the scriptures or not? Or of putting on of apparel, meaning expensive apparel. But let it be the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit. This is for the woman, a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of the Most High of great price. For after this manner, in the old time, the holy woman, the righteous woman, also, who trusted in the Most High, adorn themselves, being in subjection unto their husbands. Even as now, back in the day, the marriage ceremony, part of this, the vows would be to the woman, do you promise to love and obey? And they had to change that because the woman say yes, you know, in sickness and health, and richer or poorer. Now they had this one video, and I'm pretty sure they got more, where the black woman, when they said, do you promise to love and obey? And she looked, what? And richer and poorer? And what? So you got these simps out here marrying women on paper. And you don't realize that she's doing what the hell she want to do. She's out there with other niggas. That's why Paul said what he said. Best not to even have a woman, man. And if you have a family, you have a woman, let's say she's in the truth, you have children, young children, whatever, young adults, or whatever the case may be, that's your family. Your family is not your cousins, your nephews, your nieces, your aunties. If your mother is still living with you because she's up in age, your father died or something, that's also a part of your family. You shouldn't be going to a family reunion. You shouldn't be cool with your cousins and uncles and stuff. You got to cut them off because they're part of the world. Now, I'm waiting for somebody to criticize me on that because I got something for your ass. It says, even as Sarah obeyed, and that's not pig Latin, Abraham, calling him what? Lord, whose daughters are ye. Now, what does it mean by whose daughters are ye? Meaning you women that come to this knowledge that you're an Israelite, you are daughters of Sarah in the spirit. So you're supposed to be like Sarah is the model that you should follow. Ye are as long as ye do well and are not afraid with any amazement. I'm not going to read anymore. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom on to the next.